Hello, everyone. If you don't know who I am, I'm Jacqueline, and I'm the Community Science Outreach Coordinator. I have been on Zoom every Digital Science Saturday and in the museum when that was a time once upon ago. I'm so excited that our first ever biodiversity themed Science Saturday has been a hit. I didn't expect so many people to get involved in the BioBlitz. I thought we would have just maybe a couple people and maybe less than 100 photos. But we had hundreds of photos and a few dozen participants. So I am really excited about that. I've been just enthusiastically watching everybody upload their observations as I'm stuck working from home. I'm like, oh, that's beautiful. I should go for a walk or go there. So it's been an absolute pleasure to see all of these really cool organisms here in Monterey County, and for a few of you that went beyond Monterey County and entered in observations. So I just want to thank you all for participating. And I hope you've enjoyed this BioBlitz, and we look forward to doing a few more in the future. But I think I want to keep a biodiversity themed Science Saturday. I'm going to fight for it. I think it turned out pretty well. So with that said, I know people are anxious to find out winners of the BioBlitz, but we're going to talk a little bit more about biodiversity and what it actually means here in Monterey County. So biodiversity is a variation of life forms or living organisms. And when scientists talk about biodiversity, there's generally three different types of biodiversity that scientists talk about. There's genetic biodiversity, so how much variation there is in a species genetic code. There's ecosystem biodiversity, so the different types of ecosystems within an area, within a region. And then there's the most common is species biodiversity. And species biodiversity is the variation or the amount of different types of species that are living in one ecosystem or habitat. Here in California, California is actually one of the most biodiverse places in the US. It's considered a global biodiversity hotspot, meaning it has more species of plants and different types of animals than any other state in the US. And if you didn't know already, California even has a holiday celebrating Biodiversity Day, which is September 7th, and it happens every year. So here at the museum, we are looking forward to definitely celebrating Biodiversity Day every year on September 7th. Now I kind of want to go into a little bit about all the different ecosystems and habitats we have here in Monterey County, which makes us such a species-rich place to live. If I could have everybody for a minute close your eyes. I know we're all still stuck sheltering in place, but if you can close your eyes for a second and just picture your absolute favorite place to be or to visit. And if it's not here in Monterey, that's fine. If it's not even in California, that's totally fine. So think about your favorite place to visit. What do you hear? What do you see? Do you feel a breeze hitting your face? Do you hear birds or waves or leaves rustling? Are you barefoot? Are you wearing hiking boots? Are you wearing flippers? And now in your environment, go ahead and just start to think about the different animals or different organisms you see just at a first glance. Right? You might see big things like trees or fish maybe a shark if you're lucky. Bushes, grasses. But what do you see if you pause and go a little bit even closer? The small things that get overlooked so often. The insects, the worms, maybe the birds that flew too fast. Okay, now open your eyes. Now, please feel free to share. You can raise your hand or type it in the chat. What place did you visit? And while people are thinking that up, I just want to say the one thing I really love about iNaturalist is that you don't have to go far to see a lot. You can sit in one spot, whether it's on the ocean floor, in a kelp forest, in a park, on a bench. And if you just sit and listen and start to look and hear what is going on around you, you can see so much more just by spending that little bit of time. And sometimes when I first got into iNaturalist, I realized that I was missing so many different things because I was looking at the big picture instead of focusing in on the smaller organisms that are just as important to our ecosystems. Ooh, Andrew Malera State Park, yeah, that's a good one. Love that one. Underwater.
Oh, Point Lobos.
So underwater is my happy place too. I loved all of the diving pictures. I was really jealous I couldn't be underwater this entire time. Point Lobos is fantastic.
I think mine is, oh, sorry, Julia, I interrupt. Mine's Sand Dollar Beach in Big Sur, similar to my sister's, Rose over there. I just love it. I think it's beautiful on a sunny day or a foggy day, like it's magical in different ways. And it was fun to imagine through that exercise, like all the small insects you see. I've seen a couple monarchs there, hopefully some this year too. And a seal that chased my dog once, or actually she chased it. So all sorts of good memories of the biodiversity there.
Good one.
That's awesome. I really liked that exercise. I found myself getting a little emotional, but I was like, But my family's from Hawaii, and so we go almost every year, and I couldn't go this year. So I imagined, I imagined that there's a mountain that my mom grew up on Oahu, and we always go for a hike on that mountain every time we go. So I was imagining, like, you know, my feet crunching on the ground, guava would fall as well to the ground, and the ones that were intact we'd pick up and we'd eat, and so I could smell the guava again. And there's all kinds of these little gnats and things flying about. And when you get to the top, it's just really, really quiet. It's like, it's amazing how quiet it is, but it's so peaceful. And so I was thinking about that too. So that was my happy place.
That's so awesome. Also, Mary said Point Lobos and Yosemite. As much as I love scuba diving in our kelp forest, I do have a really hard time just picking one spot I like to explore. Monterey has a lot of different types of ecosystems and a lot of places to explore. If you're going down the Big Sur coast, you have all of those beautiful beaches and rocky coves. You have some redwoods down there, chaparral hiking. You know, if you go all the way up into the mountains, you can be hiking up at a mountain, or camping or hiking up at a mountain point. Going inland towards Salinas, there's a lot of different habitats there. If you're going down the 68, you have Toro Park, which is technically an oak savanna to woodland. That also includes the Mark Ranch area. And just that coastal oak, savanna and woodlands are really important ecosystems for pollinators and for rodents, but also that area serves as a wildlife corridor for larger traveling mammals like bears and mountain lions and bobcats and deer. So there's a lot of different places to think about. You also have like the Fort Ord National Monument, which is a kind of an oak woodland, but it's also a chaparral area. If you go back to the coast, the Sillamar Dunes to Morena Dunes are really important ecosystems. Coastal dunes are home to a lot of different species, but also quite a few endangered species, like the Smith's blue butterfly and the legless lizard and the wallflowers. So there's quite a few endangered species too that call our coastal dunes home. And I just wanted to take some time to appreciate all of the different places that we have so close to where we live. And I'm glad that everybody was able to enjoy exploring near their neighborhoods and near their homes, and will continue to do so. Does anybody have any questions or anything they wanted to share from their experience for our month-long BioBlitz, or an experience they had just being in nature this month when our air quality came back?
Well, I just loved the whole project, and it was really fun. I feel like it motivated me to take more pictures of what I saw around me, but also just looking at the project, like every few days I'd look and see what other people were posting, and it was always really amazing things. And it's fun to see like where they're going to see these different things. It's kind of fun to see the locations of different parks or underwater spots where people are finding really interesting things. So I loved that whole process, but it definitely, I was like competitive. I was trying to get a bunch of photos, and I definitely did not win, but it was really fun.
That's awesome. For a while there, I thought I had a chance, and then I was like, I worked too much. Gail?
Oh, I think you're muted.
Mute. Okay. So because my only camera was an iPhone, I had to look at things that were either stationary or really big, like a turkey, or really small. So particularly when the air quality was really bad, I would go outside, not for walks, but just look at my relatively new native plant garden. So I've gotten to know all the little insects and weeds that grow in my native plant garden. And that was kind of fun on the microcosm aspect.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool. I did the same thing. I have a couple native plants that are overgrowing, and I just went in and I pulled the leaves back, and I would find just so many different insects in there. Awesome. Would anybody else like to share their experiences this month, or things that they're thankful for?
Well, I will say I definitely found myself very thankful that the air quality has gotten better. It's dangerous. It's more dangerous for me to get out when the air quality is bad because I'm pregnant right now. So I have to really be careful. So now that the air quality has been better, I've been finding myself outdoors again more and appreciating it on a different level, because being inside, I realized I was like, I miss being outdoors. So, and I also got a new pair of binoculars that I bring with me on my walks. And so I really enjoy actually looking at the birds. And I'm not, I wouldn't call myself a birder because, you know, I don't want to put myself in the category and then I have a conversation with a birder who knows way more than I do. But I will say that I enjoy looking at the birds, doing my best to identify. So I've been having a lot of fun this month with that as well.
Julia, someone, I can't remember who told me this, but someone described themselves as a baby birder, like they're just in the beginning of the process. That's like I am, so I just am using that now. I'm adopting the term.
I'm a baby birder. I'm a little chick. That's me.
That's
absolutely.
something I've been thankful for too. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go for it. Yeah.
I've been really thankful for all of the kind of beginning signs of autumn. You know, we got a high surf advisory yesterday, and it's nice and sunny, and it's starting to really feel like autumn in Monterey County. I can feel the shift, you know, and it kind of feels good. It's been a weird year, but it feels good.
Yeah.
It does.
Speaking of autumn, so last month our Digital Science Saturday was Funky Fungi. And we had Joe Navarez from the Monterey Regional Parks District come and talk about different types of mushrooms and fungi that can be found here in Monterey County. Now, we were in the midst of the fires when we had that Digital Science Saturday, and the discussion is on our website and YouTube channel if you want to go back and listen. But one really incredible thing that can come out of all these fires that we had is the diversity of fungi as they start coming back in this fall and winter. So we'll be seeing morels, which are a specific type of mushroom. They actually thrive after fires. And I believe those ones are edible, right? Yeah, so you can go foraging for those. So I'm really thankful that through all of this, you know, nature is still adapting and still changing, and we're gonna get to see all the different changes that are happening. So, and I'm looking forward to actually maybe going mushrooming on a mushroom walk this fall. So after talking.
Yeah. Thankful thing. I'm also just thankful for this community and to have a group of people with the museum who are really interested in such amazing and inspiring things like nature, and it's motivating in the best ways to get me outside and you know, thinking about nature and really appreciating it more. So thankful for everyone here.
Yeah, I was gonna add the same thing in terms of being thankful for the INet community, because this is the first time where I really concentrated on making entries, and the feedback from the identifiers was incredible. So sometimes there might be a seaweed or a little shell that they had a more exact or a corrected ID. And I would say, well, you know, could you just say a few words about why that, what should I look for? How do I know that? And oh my goodness, the amount of information was incredible. So it's really a fantastic community.
Yes, I love INAC. And I mean, if you know, you can continue to add your observations with pictures, but I know that lately Julia Brooker has been hosting a nature journaling activity, and you can make your own nature journal and just take it out with you when you're going for your walks or hikes and stuff, and just sit down and write down, or even do a quick sketch of the things that you're seeing. If you know you have low phone battery or don't want screen time, those kinds of things. And then I just want to say I created a really cool craft video for this Digital Science Saturday. I'm really proud of it. Raise your hands if you know what a quadrat is. Okay. Some people, yeah. So a quadrat is a really cool, to me, I'm a nerd, a really cool tool that ecologists use to kind of count or quantify an area's biodiversity. And it looks a little something like this. And if you've gone out or volunteered with Limpet's program, this is their quadrat, and they count organisms that are living in the rocky intertidal. Now, there's a whole protocol that they have to follow, but you and your families can make your own quadrat at home using sticks and twine, and you can take it out with you whether you go to the park or you're just in your house or backyard, and you can count the different organisms that you find. So in this square, you would go through and count all of the little moving organisms so that you can get an idea of all the different little critters that are moving. And it helps you focus into a smaller area. And then at each point, you can write down what you see there, whether it's a type of plant, or if it's sand, or maybe some fallen leaves. And you can have a little mini picture of the biodiversity in this one spot. So I just wanted to share that. There's more information in the video I created, but I was really proud of this neat little craft, and I wanted to plug it.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
All right. Are all of you ready to get into our iNaturalist results?
Woo! Yes.
So I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So normally when a BioBlitz happens, it's usually in the course of one day or a couple hours and in one spot. But due to shelter in place and physical distancing, I spread it out to almost the whole month, and it could be anywhere in California to celebrate California's Biodiversity Day. And from that, we got some really cool observations this month. The most common observation was the umber skipper, or lawn mullein. There were 6 total observations of this. And just so that I'll clarify, observations are pictures that were submitted but did not receive a research grade identification. Species identifications are observations that received that observation, or like received that research grade identification. So here we have the umber skipper. So there might have been other pictures of the umber skipper, but it didn't get identified a few more times to be 100% sure that's what this insect was. We also, the largest land animal is the Colombian black-tailed deer. So here in Monterey County, actually the largest herbivore we have on land, so the largest terrestrial herbivore we have is the black-tailed deer. Now, most of you should know that a herbivore means it does not eat meat. The cutest animal, according to Julia M., is the Blainville's horned lizard.
It's adorable. How can you resist?
It's adorable. I just didn't want to blanket cuteness.
So cute. We sketched that last night too in the journaling workshop.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's pretty adorable.
Look at its little
so
hand.
Small. The weirdest species is this dog vomit slime mold. I think it's really, I think this is really cool. Most people think it's gross. So it's definitely a matter of opinion. But it's just incredible. Like you wouldn't think that this is an actual organism here. Best action shot definitely is this potentially painted tiger moth. It was almost identified but not confirmed. But it looks like it's mid-metamorphosis, which is when, oh, excuse me. Then the coolest insect. See, I didn't even see an insect here when I was looking at this photo. It's like, what is, there's nothing there. And then I saw the legs right here. 1 leg, 2. you definitely have to spend some time looking closely. So this is a Sackins velvet ant, which is not even a true ant. It's considered a wasp. Most colorful animal, definitely the opalescent nudibranch. I love these nudibranchs, and the honorable mention Spanish shaws. These, when you see a Spanish shaw or an opalescent nudibranch in the tide pools, so you actually don't have to be completely underwater to see these two species. You can find them in the intertidal, just tide pooling, usually near coralline algae or surf grass. They're truly bright, and you almost have to take a double take to make sure that it's not trash or something human-made. These are incredible species here, and they get, you know, a couple inches long. You know, I think the largest I've seen of either of these is maybe 4 or 5 inches in the intertidal. Subtidal, they could be bigger. The birding photos were really hard to choose from. There were so many good ones, so many cool ones. I don't think I have the hardest time when it comes to birding. I don't see birds that well. I'll look at the small stuff on the ground or on the tree, but I always seem to miss birds.
Yeah, and like Gail was saying, it's really hard if you just have an iPhone because you cannot zoom in. So when I was trying to take pictures of some birds, they just ended up being like a gray blur. So these are incredible. Yeah,
the osprey is beautiful. I don't think it's been a while since I've seen such a great picture of an osprey. They're usually moving so fast or diving. Ospreys are hunting birds that dive for fish. The barn owl is incredible. And then I have some Anna's hummingbirds that visit my flowers in my backyard. They move so fast, I haven't been able to get a single shot of them. So incredible pictures. Okay, so let's review our just overall views. We had a total of almost 800 observations. And in those observations, we had 523 species identified to a research grade level. And 17 people were actually joined to the museum's project, but there were more than 17 people that submitted observations to the project. So just 17 members of the project. And again, we have the umber skipper as the most observed, but other mentions are the Anna's hummingbird, harbor seals, Pacific sea urchins, and California poplars. Okay. So for most observations, we have iNaturalist DWD Daniels, who is on this call, our amazing scuba diver, who took not only incredible macro shots of sea stars and urchins and nudibranchs and limpets, but also land terrestrial organisms. So she was just incredible and always taking pictures, whether above land or underwater. So congratulations. I'll go over the prizes at the end. Our second is for most species identified. So this is how many species were actually ID'd to a research grade level. And it goes to,
I think that's Gail.
Yeah, I think it was Gail.
Wasn't it a tie?
Looks.
I can't get to my screen from the sharing. Stop sharing. Most species goes to, yeah, GAGPG. So is that you, Gail?
Yeah, but I think it's actually a tie. Didn't D.W. Daniels have that number of species also?
Oh, wow.
I'll check real quick.
It's a tie.
Yay.
What are the odds out of like 700 and something?
Yeah, so many.
I think it's fantastic.
Okay, and then I have an honorables mention. I would like to mention iNaturalist user SMDPG, because they also got, there would be the second or the third place for most observations and most species. So I believe that's you, Mary.
Woohoo!
Fantastic. So I was like hundreds of species. I was like, that is a lot of species. So for our prizes, so the top two are most observations and most species. I have these prizes were given to us by an amazing museum volunteer, Vanya. When the pandemic hit, she donated a bunch of different handmade gifts for us to share and use as prizes to keep engagement in the museum high. So both DW Daniel and Gail, you're going to receive a eco-friendly beeswax wrap with a aluminum straw and a straw cleaner with a hand stamp from the museum. So both of you will receive one of these gifts, and I will contact both of you on figuring out how to get them to you safely.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then for our honorable mention, Mary, you're also going to receive an aluminum straw in its very own cloth holder.
Yay for sustainability.
Woo,
Yeah.
woo.
So I just want to say thank you so much. I, again, am ecstatic that we had such a great outturn, and I'm glad that biodiversity was a hit. Please feel free to email me if you have any suggestions for next year's Biodiversity Science Saturday. This was the first time we did this theme, and I think I want to keep it. So with that, I just want to say thank you once again. Be sure to check out all of our Digital Science Saturday videos on the museum's page. And tonight, I believe we have, nope, today is Saturday. Last night we had nature journaling, but you can find that video on our YouTube. All right, so thank you everybody, and I can stick around for some last minute questions, or if anybody would like to talk about anything at all. Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys, this was so fun.
That was so fun. We have to do biodiversity again for Science Saturday.
Definitely. Have a good rest of your weekend, everybody.
Bye, you guys too.
Bye.
Bye everyone.
Bye. Yay. And I put, Jacqueline, your